Hi everyone, Shah here. So recently I was advised to listen to a guy, something Lewis, and then they said that he has explained with proof how XRP can go to $122,580. So let's listen to him and this research company, Valhoco Capital, this amazing company that has calculated this thing. Let's see how they're calculating it, because as an accountant, I'm very intrigued.
Welcome to this breakdown of the collateralization model that was recently announced in the brand new document from Valhoco Capital, talking about lots of different models trying to determine a fair market value for an XRP. If you're excited for the number of private wealth, real estate, XRP tokens. Interestingly, this model is based on accounting principles and considers a variety of asset classes, and those include
as he says, it's based on accounting principles. As a CPA or chartered accountant, I mean, I have some degrees. I would be really interested to hear what accounting principles they're talking about.
Supply, private wealth, real estate, central bank assets, derivatives, commodities, energy, and debt. This model really takes an...
Okay, without watching it, I can tell you that all this stuff has no relation to each other. He's just using terminologies to confuse people. They all have no connection to each other, whatever. And you cannot use all these variables when you're calculating one thing. It's very hard to keep one variable in place and then he's putting it, I don't know, 8 or 10 variables out there.
Extreme approach on getting a valuation for an XRP token, because it's essentially saying that all of the money in the world must be tokenized and put on the XRP ledger. And it's almost like an insurance policy that covers you for the absolute worst case scenario, just to make sure that there's enough money for the payout, should there.
Just one thing I wanted to clarify. A lot of people throw around the word of tokenization. Tokenization doesn't mean shit. It just means digitalization. It's just that it's a new term. People think it's something sexy or something new that has never happened before. It's not true. It has existed and it happens every day, 10,000 times a day. Go to shitcoin space, you'll see it there.
There may be elements of this that I have to look down and read from here because it is actually a calculation, but let's get into the methodology behind this model. The value of all of the money was determined using the following equation. Basically, the whole value of all of the money in the world was determined and then divided by the total supply of XRP. This calculated the total money supply that must be collateralized per coin. This model also assumed that everything would be tokenized by 2030. Then also a net present value with a 10% discount rate was applied to determine the XRP value in today's money. There's obviously a few assumptions that this model makes, and it makes many. It obviously calculates all the money in the world using documented...
Okay, before we move forward, net present value, it's a very, very simple concept. They teach you this in CAT. It's a certified accounting technician. It's a very basic, before you become a chartered accountant, you can actually learn this. It's basically, so a future value of something is at $200,000, and when you do a NPV, then it reduces to today's value, which means that if it is $200,000, it would become 180 or 170. And that's how actually banks charge you. When they are giving you loan, they charge you interest on it and they try to expand on it. When you're trying to come back to present, net present value, as the name suggests, then you are going to discount it. As they are saying they are using a 10%, it means the value is going to reduce. So let's say what they're going to do.
Sources. Interestingly though, it also uses numbers that are incredibly difficult to actually determine, and actually for that matter difficult to verify. And the stance that they've taken on this is actually they've gone on the conservative side. This scenario also assumes that all the value is tokenized at once, which into what collateralization is. Collateralization is earlier all the definitions of collateralization, balance sheet, and the transactions of these tokenized perspective. And from an accounting perspective, tokenized assets and liabilities on the XRP ledger are almost treated like numbers on a big global balance sheet. And the transactions of these tokenized assets on that global balance sheet is simply just writing another line, another transaction on that global balance sheet, essentially allowing from...
Okay, just for the record, there are no transactions on balance sheet, there are no transactions on income statement, there are no transactions on statements. What you see over there, they are accounts. Transactions, they appear in trial balance, okay, or at transactional level, they don't appear on statements. Because if you put transactions on global statements, your global statements, they would have pages of 200, 300,000 pages, because companies have millions of transactions on daily basis. So it just clearly shows that he does not understand accounting at all.
An accounting perspective for a profit and loss type report to be made, almost like an income statement. So let's get into the economic efficiency. If XRP is the most liquid asset and the XRP ledger is the most efficient network, being that it can transmit large amounts of value, it can do it very quickly and at almost no cost, you could create the logic to...
Okay, so XRP does everything very quickly and it does it at no cost. So how the hell Ripple is going to make money if they're not making a transaction cost? Because when you look at Ethereum, when you look at Binance, they charge hell a lot of money. I mean, when you look at the gas fee, go and check the gas fee of Ethereum. They can even charge you $50 for a transaction of $10, which means they make hell a lot of money. If they're not charging you money, how is Ripple going to make money is a question that no one is answering. They're saying they're going to do trillions of dollars of transaction and they're not charging. So why are you doing this? Is this a charity or why? I mean, how is Ripple going to make money then?
That all the value will touch this ledger or this network at some point, and by the report, given enough time. And this is, by definition, the essence of economic efficiency. So let's get into some of the finer details and ultimately that big price prediction that we're looking for. This model uses the G20 central bank balance sheet of 2022 to 2023. And that's the balance sheet of all G20 nations. And the total value on those balance sheets was 201.5 trillion US dollars. As mentioned earlier, the model uses the net present value calculation to determine what the price of the XRP is in today's money based on how the value of money changes over time. So using a present value calculation with an 8% discount over time, the total discounted cash flow from 2022 to 2023 is 6.29 quadrillion US dollars. With a discount rate of 10, the total discounted cash flow...
Okay, so with the 8%, he's saying it's going to go to 6 point something quadrillion. Okay, quadrillion, they throw it around without saying which quadrillion they're talking about, because quadrillion is 1 million trillion in Europe and it is 1,000 trillion in US. This is something that no one clarifies either. But anyway, so I use ChatGPT, so you don't have to agree to me, but you can look at ChatGPT. So if you discount a 201 trillion amount that he was talking about at 8%, they have used the formula, and what you get is 186 trillion, which means your amount reduces, okay, to 186 from 201. So how are they reaching to quadrillions is beyond me. And to be very honest with you, for the whole planet to reach a quadrillion is going to be hectic, and they are talking about reaching there in few years, and they're throwing around the amount just like if it's a joke. I think humanity needs to be extremely stupid to believe something like this. You are sitting at $200 trillion and you are saying you're going to reach 6 quadrillion, not 1 quadrillion, okay? You're not talking about an increase by 5. Okay, from 200 to 200 increased by 5 times, that's 1,000 trillion, that's 1 quadrillion, okay? If you say there's going to be a 500% increase in next 30 years, I might agree to you, okay, that we will have 1 quadrillion floating around. But if you're going to say it's going to be 6 quadrillion in 2-3 years, of course, those who don't understand finance or accounting will fall for this kind of crap. But please, all accountants out there, they all are laughing when they're looking at something like this. It literally hurts us when we see something like this. We have studied finance our whole life, and I don't know why are people falling for this, and they see this figure, and that's how he's getting followers and views, and every other one that you look at, they are getting followers just because of the fact they are throwing around this kind of stuff. And people are falling for it because they cannot calculate anything. Go and use ChatGPT, whatever they're saying, and it will solve it for you. I mean, I have nothing against XRP. It just hurts me to see that people are falling for these kind of scams.